So, what I'm going to talk to you guys about this week is a little bit about some psychological experiments that I read about recently that I thought were interesting, and the cognitive biases that go along with them, which are just, irrational modes of thinking that can make you real sad and you don't even know you're doing them. Hi, apathetic one. Apathetic. You're always really sad. Well, you don't have to be. There's some things that you can do. So the one that I'm talking about today is learned helplessness. And I'm going to start by making you look at pictures of my dog as a puppy. I was Raisin's good. My dad got a drone. He got a little drone for Christmas. Drone. It's just a little toy helicopter, basically. And she's horrified of it. She's so scared. Poor thing. He came in to show it to me, and she came with him. And as soon as it took off, she just ran out of the room with her tail tucked between her legs. Poor little baby. She's good, though. She's doing good. She's a happy girl. Getting sweeter all the time. She loves her grandma and grandpa. Very spoiled. Good, happy dog. And I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to make you look at some pictures of her. I'm going to force you against your will. Look at this cute dog. Oh. Yeah, she's fine. She's a very scared girl. So when I heard about learned helplessness, I immediately thought, oh my God, but this is about Raisin. The experiment where they studied this actually did use dogs. Anyway, learned helplessness is the I mean, a picture says more than I ever could. So here's Raisin, like pretty soon after we brought her home from the shelter. And she was a little tiny thing. She was even smaller than that. I was having a hard time finding a picture of her where she was even smaller, but she couldn't get up onto the couch where she loved to take naps. And she would have to wait for us to help her. She'd put her little paws up and wait for us to pick her up or to give her a little push in the butt. And as she got older and bigger, she didn't figure out that she could get up there by herself. But this is a picture of her when she was a little bit bigger, perfectly capable of getting up onto the couch by herself, but she didn't realize that. She was confused. And that face, yeah, that is the face of learned helplessness. She learned that it is not possible for her to get up there without someone helping her. And she did this up till she was 75, 80 pounds. Well, she eventually figured out she could get on to the couch. But even at full size, this is what she would do when she wanted on the bed. All she had to do was pick her butt up. All she had to do was pick her butt up. And she didn't get it. And it didn't matter if she saw other dogs jump on the bed, smaller dogs. If she saw them do it, she would just whine even more. Like, oh my God, they're up there and you won't let me up there. What the heck? One-eared cutie. Yeah, that's her with her loofah. Hi, Spoon Galaxy. I love Raisin too. She's a good girl. This is pretty common though with dogs. People joke about their like 100-pound lap dogs who just never really figured out that they were big. I love you too, Spoon. Thank you. It can be a good thing too. My German Shepherd never learned that he was stronger than I was, because as a puppy I could just pick him up and tell him no. This is actually how they train circus elephants too. When they are babies, they tie the elephants up to posts, and at first they try to get away. But then once... Are you wearing a coat in the... It is not summer. It is winter. They don't let the elephants on the... Yeah, the elephants never learn that they can get on the couch in bed. No, they tie them to a post, and at first the elephants will try to wander away, but they figure out that they're not strong enough to do it. No matter how hard they try, they can't. No, it's June? It's June. That can't be right. That's incorrect. Anyway, as the elephants get bigger, it doesn't occur to them that they are bigger and stronger and could very easily just walk away from a post. They could either break the rope or just break the post. Pretty easy for an elephant. And that's kind of the idea behind learned helplessness, is when you experience a point in time where you're unable to do something, and then you don't try again. You just kind of accept that the change that you want is never going to happen, and it doesn't even really occur to you to try anymore. I seem like a giraffe person. I do love a giraffe. Elephants are really special animals, though. I love elephants. Wow, that's me. Well, that's the theory that this psychologist Martin Seligman came up with after studying dogs, is that the theory of learned helplessness in humans is that things like depression and other mental illnesses are the result of real or perceived absence of control over the outcome of a situation. You are not meant to give up entirely. The problem is, I don't think people really know when they've given up. Like, it's not something that you consciously do. If you were aware that you had given up on something that you could in fact change, then you would just go ahead and change it. But it just kind of sinks in deep into your brain that there's nothing to be done. I'll just lie down or wait for someone else to do it for me. The actual experiment that he did, super unethical and cruel. It was the 60s. I guess you could just do whatever the fuck you wanted back then. Glad you're enjoying watching that, Kite. Okay, so what he did is he took a bunch of dogs and had them in yoked pairs. That means they were like, paired up dogs. It's really distracting. I'm sorry. That's fine. You don't need visuals for this. Just listen. So he has 2 pairs of dogs, and he administers an electric shock to them. And one of the dogs can press a lever to make it stop. So that dog figures out that he can stop the shock. So when it happens, he presses the lever, it stops. But the other dog, its lever doesn't work. So that dog's shock only stops when the first one does it. So the second dog just learns that it's random and he can't do anything to get away from it. The second part of the experiment is they put these dogs in a room with a low barrier in the middle, and the dogs get shocked when they're in one part of the room. The first set of dogs, when they feel the shock, just hop over the wall. Easy. But the second pair of dogs just lie down on the floor and whimper because they've learned that there's nothing they can do to get away from this. Hi, Big Sam. And that is where Martin, you cruel fucker, that's where he came up with this theory. The kind of extended theory of why this happens and how it relates to humans is that it's a attribution error. Attribution just means the perceived cause of an event. How someone explains why something in their life has happened and whether or not they can do anything about it. Obviously, if you think that events are totally random, you're going to feel out of control. If you feel like it's just an inherent part of yourself causing it, you're going to feel like you can't do anything about it. And if you feel like it's all from the external world and nothing that you do can change it will work, then you feel like you can't do anything about it. So because those dogs felt the electric shock, they assumed that anytime there was a shock, nothing that they did would stop it. They didn't try to stop it anymore. Is that a magic? It does look like a magic hat. It's my New Year's hat. This one isn't necessarily related to the study, but another type of attribution bias is an external attribution error and an internal attribution error. The external one is when you think that, it's kind of what I just said, but when you think that the causes of events are, completely external from you, means they happen. It doesn't matter what you do. This negative thing happens. There's nothing you can do about it. And internal attribution error is the opposite, where you just think everything is your fault. You're like, well, I'm causing this to happen. And that can go for things that, the truth is, most things aren't completely external or internally caused. If there's something going on in your life, you don't have 100% control, but there's some things that you can do. So if you're excessively seeing the causes of what is happening to you as all being on the outside or all being on the inside, you might develop this sense of helplessness/hopelessness of, this is just how things are, or this is just how I am, and there's nothing that can be done. Everything is not your fault, Kite. Some things might be. But that's why you got a will and volition, and you can do stuff about it. Hi, Bearsley. Hello, thanks so much. I just realized I haven't been looking at notifications. Sorry about that. PC, thanks for the host. Moiku, I love you. Thank you for the resub. And I already said thanks to Beard Souls, but thanks again, Beard Souls. Hi, Mayonnaise. I don't know, that whole will thing. Well, okay. We can talk about that some other time. I don't actually believe in free will, but I think that it's very useful to believe in it. Practically speaking, there are very few things that you genuinely cannot change about your circumstances, even if it feels that way. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Dr. Aldo Pucci. I read a book of his this year where he talks about irrational helplessness. It's a chapter of his book about common mental mistakes. Can I do a stream where I teach you to make a bed? Sure. Yeah. You saying you like... It just looks so nice in here. Oh God, I love a clean room. It feels so good. And what did he did not do anything to dogs. No doggy experiments. Thank goodness. The other experiments that I'm going to talk about this week were done on humans, and no one was injured or harmed. They were relatively cruelty-free. Poochie was nice to the Poochies, yeah. It's P-U-C-C-I, but that's funny. I didn't even think about the pun. Yeah, good. Leave the dogs alone, seriously. Mean. He was the same guy who did the classical conditioning. So he wasn't setting out to do an experiment on learned helplessness. This was kind of a surprise to him. He was the one who would ring a bell right before shocking the dogs and to see if they would react, right? Then when he rang the bell, they would react before the shock happened because they associated the two. Hate that fucker. Wasn't that Pavlov? Maybe he was like recreating the experiment. Hey, Leda, thanks for resubscribing. Happy 7 months. Anyway, Dr. Pucci, talking about common mental mistakes and irrational hopelessness. They're kind of related. His view was that to feel hopeless, to feel hopeless about a problem that you have to believe that you know everything about the problem. Nobody knows more than you do about the problem. And if you have failed to find a solution, it is because a solution doesn't exist. It's kind of this, when you think that you have done an exhaustive search for answers, you have not found one, say, okay, well, that's it. There is no answer to the problem that I have. And I think that's a pretty good summary of what happens to depressed people. When try to be happier and you can't do it. I was pretty distrustful of like therapy for a long time because I'm like, what insight are they going to give me? What is this person possibly going to think of that I haven't already thought of? What are they going to do? They're going to tell me to exercise and drink water. I already do that. I analyze myself all the time. That feeling goes pretty deep of, well, there's nothing to be done about this. It turns out there is, though. It took me like 15 years to figure it out, but there is insight that can help. And you get smarter and stronger, and things occur to you that hadn't before. Punani Gaming. Gracious. Hey, baby, I'd take you home and analyze you. And he went on to name a few causes of this. The first is previous learning about what is possible. Creates the underlying assumption that make us assume automatically we can't accomplish what we want to. Which is pretty much what happened to the dogs. They learned they can't do anything about it. So then when they are in a situation later where they can do something about it, and something really easy too, all they have to do is jump over a little wall. Like all they have to do is walk away from the thing that's causing them this bad experience. And it doesn't occur to them that they can do it because they already learned there's nothing that can be done. I appreciate it, Punani. Oh gosh. Well, Zango, I can't afford therapy, but that's what credit cards are for. And who knows how many years the planet's going to survive. Might as well rack up debt to make your brain work better and be happy while you can. My privileged response. Another cause is intolerance of failure, where people feel hopeless because the idea of trying to do something or solve a problem, the thought of failing at it is so unpleasant that it's not worth trying at all. Sorry, I gotta do something about this light. That actually, I like to think of myself as being pretty resilient. And it kind of occurred to me this last year that there was a lot that I wasn't willing to do. A lot of my procrastination, saying that I was going to do things and not doing them, really was related to, like, if I'm not going to do it, great. If it's not going to be a huge success, I have to keep preparing. I have to keep, like, it's okay to do things kind of badly. it's really hard to be okay with that, especially as adults. We get used to being good at things and we don't want to go into situations of uncertainty, but it really is a lot better to just do a subpar job at the thing that you wish you were doing than to just not do it. Like this stream that I'm doing right now, where I make weird mouth sounds and pause a lot and lose my train of thought. This isn't really, I'm not doing what I envisioned in my mind. When I think about doing this, it looks a lot better. But this is still okay. People still appreciate it and get something out of it. And the more that I do these, the better I get. Stutter less and all that. The third one, this is kind of the saddest one, the cause of irrational helplessness, is taking someone's word for it. Our sense of reality is pretty much entirely based on consensus and like trust in what other people have told us. If someone tells you outright or just makes you feel like something isn't possible for you or you're not capable of doing something, most people are pretty inclined to believe that. You're here for the rambling and mouth sounds. That's great. Thanks, Pack. Have I been doing it? Have I been making weird? I think I've been okay. Did stream die? Did it? Don't think so. think it's just Punani. There. Okay. I talked to you guys about the study, some of the theories attached to it. Now I'm just going to talk about what I think about all this. Slurpee sounds the whole time. Are you lying? You're lying. I haven't been making Slurpee sounds, just a couple, here and there. So what I want to say about this, there's a real insidiousness about it. I said this before. The problem with this type of thinking is you don't know when you're doing it. You don't know that you have given up on changing changeable circumstances. You just kind of accept it. Like, obviously, if you knew that the circumstance that you're in was changeable and you could change it, then you would just do it. Yeah, when there's some circumstance that you wish, wasn't the case, once you learn that no matter what you do, you're still going to be there, that problem stops looking like a problem. It kind of becomes invisible. You just accept that as a tenet of reality. Insidious, just kind of like... I'll let you guys look it up in a dictionary. Silver Autumn, thank you so much for resubscribing. Welcome back, babe. I was thinking about something that pops up on Ask Reddit sometimes. This thread of what did you think was normal until someone told you it wasn't normal? Because I think that's like kind of goes to show how you can be in these circumstances that are super easy to change or like not normal, but you don't know that. You have no way of knowing that until you have some other frame of reference. And some of these are funny. Some of them are really sad, like families fighting a lot. This person had no idea that like it was normal for people's parents to love each other. You just thought all families fight. The first one on here is just like someone had a grape allergy. He's like, I thought grapes were just kind of spicy. But yeah, this goes from everything to like people with like physical illnesses that they thought were normal, or just like straight up abuse that they thought was normal. Like people with sleep problems who are like, I thought everyone just didn't sleep. It's like, no, that's like a medical condition. Go do something about that. There is, I don't know, some of them are sad. There's like one with an alcoholic mom who's like, I didn't know it wasn't normal for me to be in bars all the time as a child. Oh, okay. I'm gonna just show you. There's one that was super weird. This is a really good example of how bad your circumstances can be without you thinking there's anything weird about it. This is a 16-year-old not allowed to eat or go outside if nobody is home. Not allowed to eat if no one's home. That's fucking crazy. Sat in a car seat until I was in 5th grade. Like, this is abuse. This is just someone who's straight up being abused and is like, oh, literally had no idea that anything was weird about this. Mother physically dressed me until 6th grade. Weird shit. Weird shit. Weird. And that's the noise. Sorry. Like I was saying, some of those things are super normal. Or not normal, like they're just funny. It's like, oh, it's weird that you thought it hurt everybody to eat grapes. But some of them kind of shows how you can be in these like really damaging situations and have no idea. Yes, Terminus, infantilization. Thought it was weird to like LaCroix, and you were... It's 2019, and I am not going to tolerate anyone insulting me and my preferences, okay? LaCroix is a delicious beverage to replace soda. Yeah, because I'm all out of LaCroix, now I have to have soda. Very bad for your health. You mean LaCroix? That's not even how it's spelled or pronounced. Also gross. Oh, heck, I'm sorry, Stylus. Well, thank you very, very much for the 38 months. I don't know why you've done this, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. So this study had me thinking about trauma and how hard it can be to recognize and the deep denial that you can be in about it. Because whatever has been going on with you, you just accept that as normal. You don't think of it as something changeable, something wrong. And I think a lot of people, I think most people have some serious emotional trauma that they should be dealing with, but are kind of under the impression that, you know, my life is pretty good. It would be dramatic to think that I had any serious emotional scarring. I think a lot of people think that you have to be like a war veteran to have real emotional issues that need addressing. You don't actually have to like watch someone die or like kill somebody to be traumatized. Pretty much just have to live long enough. I don't know, like 10 years or so plus. Care about anything. When they hit you with the feels in the okay, I waited 53 minutes and 54 seconds to start talking about your repressed emotional scars, okay? But the normalization and like the rationalization, I think, goes like this. You find yourself in this situation that you think that you feel like you can't prevent, either because you really can't prevent it or you just don't understand how to. Hey, freakish. When you see that there isn't anything you can do about it, you start to think, okay, well, this is just the way things are, so it must be normal. If what's going on is normal, then it shouldn't be upsetting. And if it shouldn't be upsetting, but you feel upset anyway, then you start to feel like you're just an irrationally upset person who gets sad for no reason or for inappropriate reasons. And I think that pretty much sums up why so many people have poor emotional intelligence and can't really recognize when they're sad or do anything about it. is this internal attribution error of my life isn't upsetting. If I feel upset about things, I'm a big baby. There are things to do when you are sad. There are, but to do something about it requires that you can recognize when you're feeling sad and identify why. And the identification part is really difficult. The hardest part of getting getting help for my mental health problems has been figuring out what the fuck the problem is. Once you know what's wrong, it's not that hard to fix it. But if you have been conditioned to think that what has been upsetting to you shouldn't be upsetting, then you stop recognizing it as a problem. And you start feeling like you're just nuts and irrational for having feelings like a normal animal. So I have been this psychiatrist that I've been seeing this year. Pretty much every time that I was going to him, he would ask me about my passiveness. Like, why are you so passive? And I was like, I didn't think I was that passive. I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, that's just the way that I am. But he was like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'd be like, oh, that's just how I am. I don't like to upset people, whatever. And he was like, no, like, that doesn't explain why you don't seem to like want better for yourself, or you don't like stand up for yourself enough. And I didn't even understand the problem of like, I couldn't answer the question of why I was so resigned, because I didn't realize that I had resigned. You're passive. What about all the fieldy sass? I got a big mouth, I guess, but do you show them your Twitter? No, but Twitter is indirect. Like, I'm not telling anyone that they have to treat me differently. It's not like someone I have to look in the face. It's not anyone I'm in a relationship with. That's just me screaming out to the world. And I think the reason I use Twitter so much is because I'm not good at telling actual people what I want, what I need, and how I'm feeling. Even as I'm sitting here telling the internet all this shit, like, I still don't have to look at you and see your face and deal with how you're responding. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can walk away. There isn't a pressure between us to do anything on the other's behalf, you know? Happy New Year, Monka. But I'm really bad at talking about how I feel, like, to other people, sharing my emotions, and even knowing, like, a big part of like the social anxiety that I've had is less like feeling nervous around people and more just like freezing up because I don't know what I think. I don't speak to you, I speak at you. It just, yeah, I don't worry that I'm going to like, I don't know. It's not stressful. There's no pressure. But lose my train of thought a little bit there. So I talked about this like in one video a while ago. I've never I might finally talk to my psychiatrist about this. I've never actually talked to a mental health professional about it, but I was in abusive relationships pretty much from age 12 to 18. And from that was conditioned over many years that people will get what they want from me, and that what I want for myself is kind of irrelevant because the people that I care about aren't going to care about what I want for myself, and my resistance is going to be eroded eventually. And so it's not only is it not worth like standing up for myself to get what I want, it isn't even really worth thinking about what I want. Look like MJ. Thank you. I think. And in that light, it kind of makes more sense when my psychiatrist is like, you know, where's your drive? Where's like your resistance to the things that make you stray from your goals? And it's that those were cold so long ago. I kind of forgot that I ever did have drive. Miranda Cosgrove? Is that a typo? I don't think that's her name. So kind of like those dogs that learned not to try to avoid the shock, I kind of learned not to bother dreaming on my own behalf for a while there. And like after I graduated college, I moved to Texas. I kind of and like I was relatively happy and had a good life and stuff, but I kind of just spent 5 years going along with what other people were doing and like being like, yeah, this is good enough, like not really trying to do all that much that was really relevant to me and my interests. Hey, thanks, Freakish. I've got a paid professional, and even better, I have you guys who pay me to talk about all this shit. But yeah, a little practical advice then about what to do if you think that maybe there are some ways in your life that you have learned to be hopeless. Acceptance, which that means like of your own emotions. I think a lot of people feel like frustrated with themselves when they feel negative emotions, like when they're feeling sad and shit like that. They're just like wow, it's so annoying that I'm feeling this for no reason. You don't feel things for no reason. There's a reason. Even if it's a chemical thing, that's still a reason, and that means that there's something that you can do about it. Being able to do something about it requires knowing what it is. This is like basic stuff that like 5-year-olds have to be taught, but adults need to be taught it too, because we forget or either just never learned. But naming what it is that you're feeling and not getting mad at yourself for feeling it, and then doing the work of figuring out why that might be. Just gonna go ahead and get rid of this guy. What was I saying? He distracted me. Right. Slaying your monsters is pretty easy. It's finding them that's the hard part. So that'll take some work, but know that if you haven't figured out why you're sad or what to do about it, it's not because it's impossible to do that. It's not because there's no way to do that. It's just kind of hard sometimes. It takes a while. And when you do figure it out, this is the thing about learned helplessness. A lot of it comes from when you're a kid, or just from like a time in your life when you were less capable of standing up for yourself or getting what you wanted. I didn't notice him until just now, freakish. But you're kind of like my little raisin who hasn't realized that she's perfectly capable of jumping on the couch now. You kind of get stuck in this childlike mindset of unless someone else steps in and takes care of me or does this thing for me, it's not going to happen for me. It is kind of like if you've ever watched a scary movie as a little kid and you think it's like the most petrifying thing in the world, haunts your dreams, and then maybe 10 years later you go back and watch it again and you can't figure out what on earth was so scary about it. You're like, that's obviously a mask. This acting is terrible. Like the lights are on and you're just like, what? Why was this scary? This can be kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. I've had like a really hard time taking some of like the bad moments in my life seriously, because like on the one hand, I'm like, I know perfectly well that if that same thing happened now, it would not be a problem because I'm 28 years old and perfectly capable of doing something about it. So it kind of makes me feel like oh, I'm like such a baby to like have bad feelings about that thing that happened 15 years ago. Like, why does that still upset me? Because I'm not seeing that through the lens of a 28-year-old. I'm seeing that as a 12-year-old. And the truth is, when I was 12, I wasn't in the position to protect myself from those things. So you kind of have to play the role of your adult self and your kid self when you're looking back at these things. Like if there was an adult in my life at that time who knew what was going on, they wouldn't have been like, you're so stupid. Like, why are you upset about this? They would say, wow, I'm sorry that was happening and we're going to do something about it and I'll protect you. And when you're an adult yourself, you get to be the person who kind of sees that through the adult lens and, you know, comfort yourself. And then know that you are capable of putting yourself in better situations. And like I said, the hardest part about overcoming like feelings of hopelessness is that a lot of the time you don't even really know what it is that you feel hopeless about. So you kind of have to do some thinking and figure it out. There are a lot of things throughout your life that you weren't able to do for whatever reason. So you stop thinking about those things. And you don't realize a year, 5 or 10 years later that you are absolutely able to do things about it now. And you kind of have to re-attribute the reasons for those events or your failure to do something about those events. It's not 100% your responsibility, but it's not 0% your responsibility either. There's a healthy mix of seeing the reality of external factors and the reality of how much you can do to change your circumstances. There's a lot. There's a lot you can do. And it's easy to get stuck, but actually pretty uncommon to be in a truly terrible situation that you can do nothing to get out of. Trade my soul for your current endeavor to work out. Any takers for your soul? Is it a good soul? I thought I had smeared makeup, but I think it was just a shadow. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. That's all I gotta say about that. It was first time sitting down and chatting with you guys for a few months, so not my smoothest brainwaves, but I hope you found any of this interesting, maybe helpful, or just something to think about. We got our peace synchronism. Pixie Muffin, hey, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome back, baby. Well, good news, Kite. I think when I pee, I'm just gonna go offline because that's all I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. And let's see, it's Tuesday. I'm gonna try to stream for you guys Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thanks, Big Sam. And yeah, it will be related, but also new stuff. Gonna talk about the Pygmalion effect, the Ash conformity experiment, and what's the last one? There's one more. I can't remember what it is, but it's interesting, I swear. Did you see? I saw that you were live. I didn't get to watch. I would love to watch next time. Sorry, Pixie. It's hard to catch it all when I only stream for an hour. But that's what VODs are for. I'll be back tomorrow. Any questions or things you want to distract me with before I ditch you guys to go do whatever it is I do? Okay. I missed you guys a lot. You guys, I already said this. I said this on Twitter and I said it on Discord. And if I saw someone else saying stuff like this, I'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever, and roll my eyes. But you guys had a very big influence on me in 2018. Really appreciate being able to talk to you. Thank you for showing up. Still sticking around even when I just disappear for a few months. And I just really love you guys. Thank you, Bearsley, for the quick moderating. What's my favorite liquor? I like whiskey mixed with soda or water. Or if I'm gonna just drink something totally straight, I like tequila. I like weedy beers, but I try not to drink them because they make me really chubby. You kind of missed the whole thing, Band Geek. I'm sorry. Sky Blue and back. Thank you for the bits. Love you. Distract you with the religion of delicious casseroles. If you guys want to tell me about your favorite casseroles, I am listening. Just tried rye whiskey. I one time bought a bottle of rye and a bottle of some other type of whiskey from the same distillery because I was gonna try to figure out what the difference in taste was, like to compare them, but I accidentally just drank the whole first bottle without comparing them. So I guess I'll just never know if I can taste the difference. Morbid SpongeBob, thank you so much for that Prime sub. Appreciate ya. I'm just filling up a few more minutes of chatting before I go offline because I said all of the stuff that I planned to say. I'm sorry, but thank you for coming in. Accidentally drink the whole thing. I'm not by myself. It's the people that, other people in the house helped. But then I was like, went to open the other bottle and I'm like, crap. This was supposed to be a side by side. They tasted pretty much the same to me on different days. I don't know. I still don't know what the difference is. If you can even tell the difference just by taste alone. You guys tell me. Yeah, what else do I have on my to-do list today? Get dressed, I did that. Makeup, I did that. Stream, I did that too. I do want to exercise today because I haven't been exercising much, and I said that I was allowed to be lazy until January 1st, and that's today. It's January 1st. I'm gonna go wash this glitter off my eyes and take a jog. Try to take a jog. I can't jog anymore. It's been such a long time since I tried to jog, but I'm gonna try. Hey, awesome, Pixie. Hey, in the Discord, we set up a channel to talk about planning and bullet journaling, so need some more inspiration, check that out. Thank you so much, Embellic. So, yeah. You accidentally muted all of Discord? Yeah, me too. I can't even keep up with my own Discord. I don't know how anyone keeps up with multiple Discords. It's wild. But, yeah, I don't know, guys. If you want to feel good about yourself and productive, maybe do some push-ups or something. You don't have to take a jog. I'm gonna try to take a jog. Aw, heck, thanks, Silver Autumn. I already said thank you to you guys like 1,000 times, but you can't say thank you too many times. Thank you guys, I love you all. Any quick advice for taking 30 semester credits? Go to the library every day without your phone and do some dedicated work and studying, and try to separate that from your other time, because it's going to be really hard to take the time that you need to like also be a person and eat well and sleep. So I would try really hard to make some structure and really carve out the focused working time. It's hard, but try really hard to sleep at the same time every night. Being a person in 2019. Make it easy for yourself. Maybe get a few cases of Soylent so you don't have to be stressed out about what you're going to eat. And if you need help, or if you're struggling to keep up or with assignments or anything, talk to your professors, because you'll be surprised by what they're willing to do for you. If you have counseling services at your school, use them. That'll help. I think that's all I got. Happy New Year, Moses. Ever had any issues with CBT where you're resistant to it because a lot of it is common sense? Yeah. Yeah, my big problem with CBT was that when I like pretty much for a really long time, I had no idea how to benefit from therapy, because when I went in and they're like, cool, so what's wrong and what do you want to work on? I was like, not being sad. Like I couldn't figure out what it was really hard for me to figure out what specifically I needed help with. But yeah, and then like the things that people suggest are all kind of obvious. Like, I don't know, it's kind of frustrating. But just the act of really thinking of like specifically about what it is that you're trying to change will make it a lot easier. Like specific goals, I want to have more energy, is more helpful than I want to be happier. I want to spend more time doing things I enjoy. I want to figure out what it is that I do enjoy. Spend more time with friends. Like, sit down and make a very specific list of the things you wish were different about your life. And you might be able to just, after making that list, figure out how to do those things by yourself. If not, therapist can probably help you. But yeah, it's really easy to just be like, I'm a smart person, I have perfectly good problem solving skills. What the fuck is someone else gonna do to solve my problems? But yeah, just having someone to facilitate you talking about yourself and narrow down what's wrong and what can be done about it is, in fact, pretty helpful. Restart my life. You can't restart your life, but for as long as you're alive, it's going to be right now. You are always going to be existing in the present. And that is the time when you can do whatever it is you want to do to change things. So, yeah. The hardest part about changing anything in your life is figuring out what you want to change. So, figure it out and make a plan for how you can make it happen, and then do it. All right? Get yourself together. If you could restart your life and do everything that you needed to do to put yourself in the position that you wanted to be in, think about what those things would be. And then think about how you're probably going to be alive for like another 70 or 80 years. And that's a fuckload of time to do any of the shit that you want to do. So just go ahead and do that. It's easy. It's not easy, but you can do it. It is hard, and you are someone who has been doing hard things your whole life and making it work. So you can do this. Didn't you say you're like 21, right? I don't know. People are excessively scared of getting older. Every year of my life since I was 21 has gotten better. I'm 28, not like super old, but I'm coming up on 30, and I feel like I'm just getting into the flow of things. It's not all downhill. My parents are in their 60s. They have like so much more fun than I do. They're always going out on dates and going out, I don't know, going on vacations. Getting older is a lot of fun. You give less of a shit about other people and more of a shit about yourself and what you want to do. You just get better at navigating the world. You're super old? No, I don't feel like I'm super old at all. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I do have friends, though, who are like, oh man, we're almost 30. Where did the time go? And I'm like, still a lot of it. I don't feel old at all. And yeah, feeling like you've wasted time can be kind of counterproductive too. Like if you're like, oh, I already wasted so much time, what's the point anymore? Think about how much you can do in like a week. Think about how much you can do in just 1 week of trying to get better at any skill. Like a lot. Like if you sit down for 1 hour and focus on improving some part of yourself, you'll probably make a lot of progress. And you have years to do that. So feel like it's just too late for yourself. That's nonsense. It's easy to feel that way, but it is incorrect. And yeah. Whatever you want to be different about your life in 1, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you are capable of doing a shit ton to make that happen. But yeah, our generation is different. Like for my parents, there's kind of like the map, the life map was a little more set. You go to school, get married, get a job, you buy a house. we don't really have that clear path anymore. So it's pretty easy to feel like, oh, I'm a failure if like you don't really know what you're doing. You just have a lot of freedom, which is terrifying, but you can make it work. Yeah, it's cool. You got time. Did that crap and you're still a failure. I don't know what you think that means. You just realize this is my bedroom. Very intimate. I sleep in there. Right over there. Gross, right? I don't know. When you look at me talking to you, are you like, wow, she's old, and if she hasn't accomplished anything, it's not gonna happen? Maybe you do feel that way. Don't tell me if you do. But I'm guessing you don't feel like that. So you're 21. In 7 years, you can be doing way more with your life than I ever have. Got a lot of door. Yeah. Bathroom, closet, hallway door. Never graduated high school. Yeah. That's hard on your self-esteem, but like, what does that really mean? It's not like you couldn't. If it means a lot to you, you can go back and do it, but that doesn't really say anything about you, how smart you are. I could lay down on the bed and be totally camouflaged. Kind of, yeah. It's the same fuzziness. I think you'll be surprised by how much better you get at being alive as you get older and getting happier and stuff. You think about how much easier things were for you at 21. I don't know, maybe I'm just a freak case, but every single year of my life since becoming an adult has gotten better and easier than the last. I'm happier, I like myself more. I do more interesting things, have more fun. People respond to me better. Yeah. You'll figure it out, I promise. Even if you've gone 20 years not being able to figure out, that's a lot of evidence pointing towards I'm never going to figure it out. But it's not the reality of things. Hi, Zio. And even the years where like terrible shit happened, like those years were still better because I was better at dealing with life happening. Heck yeah, Gadget. Yeah. Hi Zio, thank you for the host. Yeah, learning to love yourself is very important. That's almost kind of like a useless thing to say because of what you know. If I knew of someone who doesn't love themselves, if they knew how to, they would just do it. It takes a lot of work, a lot of searching, figuring out what even happened that made you doubt yourself so much. Hi, Swift. What's up? Yeah, you got this, tomboy. What's going on? How are you? Happy 2019. Welcome. This is the first day of never having to be alive in 2018 again. We did it. We did so good. Ooh, first star of the year. Good job. If I say it, I have to do it. I'm gonna jog. I'm gonna jog tonight. I'm gonna do it. Or at least get on. My mom got an elliptical for Christmas, so maybe I'll get on that. When we gonna get on that? After this stream. I think I keep talking because I know when I'm done that I actually have to go jog, so I keep pretending like I have more things to talk about. I don't want to. It's gonna hurt. My muscles are gonna feel bad and water's gonna come out of the holes in my body. That was a gross way to say that. Where's Raisin? She's right here. Now, actually, she's probably... My dad's watching TV in the other room, so she's probably in her bed in that room or sleeping at his feet. They are in love with each other. Absolutely in love with each other. You're 24 hours. No! You can barely even stream for 2 hours without getting exhausted. Got a new puppy and he already loves. Parents just have that magic. I don't know. She's so good. She's raising the bar. Yeah. Yep. 48 hours. No. I would feel like I was doing great if I started doing a consistent like 8 to 10 hours a week streaming. I got three more streams planned for this week. Full year stream. I couldn't do that. I couldn't handle it being on camera all the time. I don't know. I wonder what's the record for like the longest a person has like nonstop streamed themselves. Or dog park streams. You're not the first person to ask for another dog park stream. Okay, doing that was fun, but I felt really creepy the whole time. Like, I felt so uncomfortable when like people were around and I was like trying not to get them on camera. I hate making people uncomfortable. But it's a public place. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I could do it again sometime. My name is Truman. Hey, Truman. I actually didn't really like that movie. That's right, Moses. It has to be recorded, like the actual longest, like non-stop having your life broadcasted. I guess it wouldn't be that bad. I guess you just get used to it and like get over the feeling of needing to be like actively talking or doing something. Oh, the longest uninterrupted live webcast is 150 hours 30 minutes. Iteration was achieved by Lifestyler TV in Germany. That seems short. Like, I feel like there has to be someone who just like stream for like a year at a time, right? No? Are you saying you can do longer? Well, not on Twitch. You're not allowed to like stream yourself sleeping, right? Records for the taking. I guess it depends on what the rules are. Like, do you always have to be on the camera or do you just have to have it going? Like, do I have to... What happens when I need to change my clothes or take a shower? Did I just have to be a never nude for a while? I'm sorry. Why? I don't know why I'm sorry. It's not hard to keep me talking. All right, well, I better get some cutoff shorts and a bikini top, I guess. Technically, you sleep if you have someone who steps in for you and you just are in the background. God, I can't even imagine how angry the internet would be if I streamed myself taking a shower, even like with clothes on. Oh, just imagine the thought police. Single-handedly ruining feminism and gaming for women. Oh, really, Swift? Okay, well. You just can't do anything fun on this website. No, I have no interest in trying to break any records for longest stream done. Like, you're just using modern plumbing just to get views. This is why my channel never got off the ground. If I take a shower with the... I don't want to get my coat wet. No. This is why the real streamers are on Pornhub. Gonna go on Pornhub just to make videos of myself in full denim, lathering up, tricking people into thinking about their feelings, maybe eating a sandwich, I don't know. The normal sexy stuff. There's people that would jerk off to that. I'm jerking off right now. All right, I think I'm gonna go.